Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sensibly Cynical podcast. My name is Sean, and today's guest is Flora. He is an awesome producer, singer, and songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee. His latest single, titled Cannonball, was released on April 8th. We talk about how we started in the music industry, what it's like playing in the Nashville scene, and much more. I know you will enjoy this one, so here it is, my interview with Flora. With me on the line, he is an amazing Southern rock artist out of Nashville, Tennessee. Flora, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Long day at work, but now the fun begins. It's the podcast world.
Amen. All right.
Well, speaking of work for you, it's all play, right? None of it's work. What you do.
Oh man, that's what you want to believe, but yeah, it has its moments, where it's definitely some work sometimes. But
take us through the beginning. How was your journey like getting started in the industry?
So getting started, before I was like in the industry as a professional musician.
Yeah.
I grew up singing and grew up playing. I started playing piano at around age 7, and then I really started getting into guitar at around 11 years old. And then from there, guitar was like the first thing I could really like express myself on. In terms of it just took it to another level. Piano was always like kind of reading sheet music and doing that. And then I started learning how to play guitar, and it was, I could express myself a little better on that. And then from there, I found my voice singing wise, and I started playing professionally around Roanoke, Virginia when I was 16, 17 years old. And, did that for a couple of years and moved out here to Nashville in 2012 and
nice.
Been kicking ever since.
Yeah, I lived in Richmond for a while. Music is there too, big there too, So Cannonball released on April 8th, right? But before then, I know you talked about, the type of music and how you started and everything, but was there an artist that you heard when you were a kid or whenever, you're like, all right, yep, I don't know what I have planned, but what I have planned now is to do what that person does?
Yeah. Pretty early on was Greg Allman. And Dwayne Allman, of course, guitar side of things, but just hearing Greg sing, just kind of was like, oh, okay, I could do this, and it's kind of in my blood, that's my dad's favorite band. It's my favorite band.
Oh, the Allman Brothers?
Yeah. So I can, I love that, just Greg's voice and the music that they make is something special. So, so whenever I heard that, and I heard that very early on, that was, it was the first concert I ever went to in a big room, and was see them, and I was just like, "Yep, this is my piece."
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the debate between like newer country and older country? Do you see much of a difference, or has it been pretty much steady?
Yeah, I see most modern top 40 country is just rock music now, which is fine. I'm a huge rock guy. I love that. But, and that's kind of why I switched over into country a little bit, was because it was, I was a metalhead at 16 years old or 2015. I was an Yngwie Malmsteen fanatic, and
really?
I was into like that. I love Dimebag and, Kerry King and all that, all that kind of stuff. And, the list goes on and on, but I was, is it at Roanoke's Festival in the Park that they have down there? Their big festival that they host every year on Memorial Day weekend. And my buddy Skip puts on, has been a huge mentor to me. And I got to sit on the side of the stage when Jason Aldean came through that first year, right when Hicktown dropped. And it was a wall of orange full stacks. And I was just like, oh, this is okay. This is like different than like pedal steel, twanging country. This is rock drop D riffs, that are in a country setting. Now we're just singing about country stuff. It's rock and roll through and through. So I love it. And it took me a little while longer. I'd always appreciated the old country, but it took me a little while to get out here and be playing it day in and day out to be like, oh, okay. I really, really love the old stuff too, so you can't go wrong with it, but there's definitely a big difference.
Yeah. Did that change happen after 2000, or was this a more 2010s thing? Like when did you notice the change?
Yeah, it was from the rock stuff. I think it was heading that way throughout the mid 2000s, because that was, I mean, whenever I look at like my favorite blend of country, it's right there, that like early Sugarland, you know, kind of just that mid 2000s where it was still like produced like the 90s stuff. Like, you know, you had some Diamond Rio type production and big vocals and all that, but it was starting to get more gritty guitars and more, and you know, just, and then from there, then Rich Redmond started programming drums on that one Jason Aldean track, and then that's when it kind of, I blame him for that. That's you don't blame Blake Shelton, you know? No. I remember, man, Rich Redmond was like, he's like, yeah, we programmed drums for the first time. He put a big, you know, 808 drums on one song, you know, and it's like hip hop drums. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But no, I was just kidding on the Blake Shelton reference, but because it seems like whenever you need a generic country artist for some TV show or whatever, it's like it's either him or, you know, a couple other people, you know.
Yeah. I mean, more power to him, man. They're maximizing it. But.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about Cannonball, man. Talk about how that project started and the genesis of it all.
Yeah, so the project was, I don't know, for that song, it probably started years and years ago. I had the first 4 lines of that song in my head for years now. It was just like, could never find the right song, and vice versa, you know, for the lyrics to go to, and vice versa for a guitar part to fit with it. And it was, and I was just doodling, and, you know, I was practicing something, and then that guitar riff just kind of came out, and I was jamming on it for a second. I was like, okay, I can hear those first 4 lines, and then from there, it just all kind of dropped in a night. So that was the songwriting aspect of it. And it was one of those real easy ones that just kind of fell out of the sky to you. But from there, we recorded it. Me and 2 of my friends, Douglas Gross and Jeremy Pearl, recorded it all in house, and you know, in our little studio. And so we got that done, and then I took it over to my buddy Mike Esser at Sundog Studios here in town, and he you know, mastered the thing. I play downtown 5 days a week. You know, I do 7 to 10 shows a week. So I'm always down there playing the originals, but they're in the middle of a 4-hour or 3-hour set, you know, usually, and I'll throw in, you know, 5 or 6 originals in there, you know, just, you know.
Yeah. I'm sure there's alcohol involved, right?
Yeah, every once in a while.
What's your drink of choice, Ross?
I'm a Jack Daniels man.
Oh yeah, just straight, neat, on the rocks.
Yeah, just neat, you know. And if it's some of that better stuff like that Sinatra blend or something like that, I'll do it on the rocks. I won't disrespect that with a shot, but yeah,
you're a man after my own heart, man. I do straight or on the rocks or neat.
Yeah,
I don't mix it with like. When I was a kid and got a club or whatever, you know, I would do whiskey and Coke, but like that's just you know, fit in or whatever, but. You know, once you get past that, you know, I don't give a crap. You know, it's just like I'll just do it straight. You know, back in the day, man, we used to play. I was talking this with my buddy a while back. You ever play quarters when you were a kid?
I didn't really.
You know what?
What you're talking about, though.
Do you know what quarters is?
Yeah, where you bounce the quarters into the glass. So we would have a shot glass, and not like this, but it'd be like a normal shot glass. Okay.
And what we would do is we would do it differently though. We would pour the Jack in the shot we'd have all the shots poured out and we'd hand them to people, and you would take the shot you would pick who took the shot. So you would do the quarter. If the quarter went in your buddy's shot glass and you wanted them to do it, they had to take the shot, but the quarter had to stay in there. And they had to spit the quarter out after they took the drink, you know.
There you go. Add some flavor.
But now the alloy. Now everyone has all these apps and shit, you know?
Yeah. All right.
Who's on your playlist right now, Ross? Like current stuff. Like who's your go-to?
Big Wreck is my all-time kind of like band that nobody seems to know about, that I always have to tell people about. But they're insane. They're a Canadian band out of Vancouver. They're all around just awesome rock and roll band. So they fill up a lot of Jason Isbell. Been listening to some of the new Jelly Roll record that came out. So he's got a lot of cool songs on there. Nice. You know, I've been learning a couple of those. Those are a lot of fun to sing and play. And what else? I mean, just a mixture of some, some old. I try to work through a couple, George Strait songs out of the however many number ones he's had in his career. I'd always try to keep a couple like fresh.
That guy is just like unconscious, man. Garth Brooks is my personal favorite. We're talking about old country. I was a big Garth Brooks guy.
Yeah.
My mom's crush is Kenny Chesney.
So, is that right?
Crush on. She'll probably listen to this one when I tell her it's a country singer. She'll probably listen to this one.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think country is still kind of, I wouldn't say forgotten about now, but do you think it's getting its just due, like as in this grand scheme of things with today's like youth, or do you think it's like an older thing? Or talk about what you think perception is country.
I'd say if anything, it's become more mainstream since the days of mid 2000s, where it was a little more adult contemporary style, in terms of how smooth it was. And as far as how it's grown, I mean, again, I'm living in the bubble here, but it's, you see a lot more kids, or 21-year-olds than you did back when I first moved here 10 years ago, all the time. So it's, I don't know. Yeah. I see on social medias and, on different pages and stuff, just what my friends are liking. I was like, I never would have dreamed you would post a country song, like, however many years ago. And
yeah, my ex-girlfriend, she got me into the, I don't know the guy's name, but Gary something. He had that song Airplanes.
Yeah, Gary Allen.
Yeah. Do you like that song? I love that song, man.
Yeah. I was right here watching Airplanes. Yeah, that's a great song, man.
You should do a cover of that. And then be like shout out to the Sensibly Cynical podcast and do the cover.
Yeah, I can do that.
I bet you'll get downloads from that one though. Like for the views or listens,
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I'll check it out.
What
for y'all?
You've obviously studied music for years and years and years. Which I asked this a while back. I've been interviewing a bunch of musicians over the years, and I have a good question here. What's your thoughts on cover versus original song? Because I watch these reality shows and stuff like that, and back in the day, Howard Stern was like, "Oh no, I like original music," and AGT, America's Got Talent. And then who's the other one? Howie Mandel was like, "Oh no, I don't like original music." So what's your thoughts on that debate? Original versus cover to get noticed?
I think they both definitely have their place. As far as like getting noticed and getting your name out there, though, I'd say you want to have your own original music, just because, I mean, it is nice to have that apples to apples comparison. If you do go out and do a cover, try to do it exactly or better than the original artist did it, then that's saying something huge right there if you can pull that off. And but I always, I grew up and, it was kind of like what was taught to me from some of the old veterans that I came up with and all that. They were like, man, like, it was especially like, so it was mainly with like learning Van Halen. So like that was kind of the thing. It was like, all right, get to like learn his entire albums, like note for note, figure them out, and then start doodling with your own stuff. But it's like, man, once you try to take on a new style, really focus on what's been done before and try to, get yourself immersed in that and then learn from that and figure out, what you're going to go from it. So, or what you're going to take from that and then use it in your own way. So, I mean, I definitely think both the original, side of things and the cover side of things have equally important aspects to them, like, cause so many people, they start out young and all they want to do is write their own stuff. And that works for some, but you want to, if you've never gotten up there and had to try to sing, like, pick your artist, a legendary artist, some Greg Allman or Chris Cornell or something, then, it's.
My mom, I go back to her because she's always my country guru. But if I texted her right now, she'd be like, Dwight Yoakam, mention Dwight Yoakam. So I gotta mention Dwight Yoakam every time I talk about country. That's right. He's so underrated. He's so underrated. Yeah. Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah, getting that leg going. Honestly, Cannonball's the first solo release I've ever had. So it's kind of, the first time I've released some songs with other folks, but this is the first time it's been me as the artist and going for it. But I've written songs since I was, younger, way younger, but I never really know what I wanted to say. And I do have a couple songs that are coming up on this EP. They'll be dropping in mid-July.
Is this your first EP?
Yeah, that's the that's the first EP. EP.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if it was your first or if this was just the new one coming out.
Yeah, no, it's the first release I've ever done as a solo artist.
Nice,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
So you will,
it's a whole new experience.
I bet you're excited, huh?
Yeah. Oh, it's been a blast. And like I say, it's been, yeah.
Has it been different than what you thought it would be, especially with, technology and everything like that? Is there anything about the aspect that you don't like or surprised you?
It's been very easy. I'm running through dead horse branding and all that, like we were talking about a little earlier before we start rolling, and and they're, like, say, they just took everything. I basically have a meeting with them. I have a meeting with the overall kind of with a couple people in the company once a month. And I'm like, man, what do y'all need from me? What are my deadlines? And it's from there, I'm just like, man, throw everything at the wall, see whatever sticks, trust y'all's judgment. And it's like, so from there, it's been remarkably smooth, and I've gotten to do a bunch of these, and
I've had a good relationship with them over the last couple of years, and Danielle and everything like that. So it's awesome. I'm so thankful for your time. Couple years down the line, like, you want to do this like literally for the rest of your life, or is this something that, like, talk about what's your like future plans?
Oh, I mean, I will be playing music hopefully for a living until I die. Yeah, that's saying, there are a couple real old timers that play downtown in in Nashville here, and they're like, oh man, it's awesome. They've done the Civic Center shows, they've done that,
right?
They just really love playing, and they want to do that every day.
Are you one to do like a local tour eventually? Like go from here to here to here.
Yeah, I'd love to tour and that kind of stuff. I used to be on the road a lot as a lead guitar player and, backup vocalist, just as kind of like a hired gun for a bunch of different bands here in town. So spent the first 5 years, just about every weekend was on the road going somewhere. So I kind of got that out of my system for just the sake of touring.
Oh, talk about that if you don't mind. You had a story from that time?
Oh, I mean, we just, we meet up at the van, they were all pretty much the same. You meet up at the van. No, I never made it on a bus yet. So it's
but I'm saying, you got a good story from back then?
Oh yeah, I got plenty I can't talk about. But
you can't give me one? Oh man. No. I thought I was going to get you. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. Every weekend every day of every weekend was a story, just a lot of fun. If you're lucky enough to play with your, with some friends that you're real tight with, that and like family, that makes it even better. And I had that opportunity for a long time. So,
well, the music scene in Nashville obviously is self-explanatory. For an outsider, what are a few places that are must see? Like for a person that they say, hey, I want to go to Nashville for the weekend to see this. What venue is like a must? Would you put number one, like country artist venue?
Well, I mean, it's probably cliche and everybody knows it, but the Ryman Auditorium, that's probably the best place to see a person play. And, on this side of the country, because it's just so historic. I love going there and seeing, some monsters like Derek Trucks. I saw him and Jason Isbell and all those guys. I mean, I like to say you're playing, you're not even competing with who might be out there in the crowd. If it's a world-renowned musician, it's going to be just chock full of sharks in that room. So it's but you also got to compete with all the people the ghosts in that place as well. Say, and so they, even the biggest stars in the world, they still bring it an extra level, I think, in that place than they do anywhere else they usually play. I mean, short of just a couple crazy famous venues around the world.
Well, obviously.
That's definitely one. And I'd say Third and Lindsley. That's obviously a place I like to take people if they ever come into town. It's a slightly, it's a lot smaller than the Ryman, but it's a nice sized club, just still downtown. And that's like where Vince Gill and the Time Jumpers play.
Vince Gill, bro.
Oh man,
you're getting fancy.
Oh man, that one will make you want to put a guitar down. And then you go see them Time Jumpers.
I remember watching the CMT videos as a kid, and like he would be on there a lot. Like, he would release so much stuff that'd be like, I thought he just released something like last year, and then all of a sudden he has like something new out. He was pumping them out, man, in the 90s.
Yeah, he has all in projects now. He plays with the Eagles. He's
doing
that. I mean, he's just it's wild. That guy's the godfather of
of something. Yeah. So how many songs did you say were going to be on this EP? What's your
right now we're looking at 6, but it might be 7.
Are you gonna slowly release each one, or talk about the rollout plan?
Yeah, it'll be just a volume of work all coming out. So that's what we released. Cannonball was written about the same time. So they've all been on deck about the same amount of time.
Okay, and you're just gonna
So we wanted to break the ice with Cannonball a little bit, and then from there, then release a larger volume of work here. And, so I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna show off some different sides. I love Cannonball, but I'm more than just the rock and roll side.
Yeah, I saw something. I read that you said music is therapy. Can you talk about that, or can you expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've tried to. That's the right way to put it. That's what like music was to me, especially coming up in church. It's like you learn to feel it. And the more you do, and as hippie as that sounds and all that, it's like something that you're supposed to feel. And that's at least the allure of it over, that's why I think it was created for, all these centuries beforehand. It's like, and then from that point, that's my favorite part about being a performing artist is that, you get to give that to somebody. And when you see somebody in the crowd that's like really like getting what you're putting out there, that's what makes it. And that's kind of why I love singing. I've always wanted to be a soulful singer, always wanted to play soulfully just for that reason. And it being therapy, it's the most basic form of therapy we have. And it brings out emotions that you didn't know you were dealing with. And, there's nothing like a good record, when you're tired and when you're, frustrated and, it'll get you back right, And,
What's your thoughts on the producing side of it? I know you do some producing, right? So what's your thoughts? Yeah. What's your thoughts on that side versus basically the side that you just mentioned, conveying out feelings to people? What's your thoughts on the producing those thoughts? Big difference, huh?
Same thing. Yeah. It's the same vibe, but just you're having to do it in like a sterile environment, when you're producing and you're having to look ahead and see how people are going to be reacting to it versus when you have real-time feedback, in front of a crowd. But yeah, producing is a lot of fun because you're not, I don't know, it's good and bad because you're not just, whatever comes out of your, your voice or your guitar or whatever your instrument at whatever time is what you're going to have in a live environment. But, when you produce, you can really sit down and sit back and go over 1,000 different ideas and see which one, resonates the best. So, and
that's a great thing about music is what one person likes could be something from another person. And the key is to find that balance, right? And sometimes people have like different balance, like the same song, but have different, remixes and stuff. You know what I mean? Like one remix will be this song, this type, and then the next remix will be a different type of the same genre.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And shoot, I mean, that's a good song right there, and that's one of the definitions is that, wherever you're coming from, whatever perspective of your life, whichever way you're looking at the song, it's going to hit you some way, somehow. And it doesn't have to hit you the same as the person beside you that's dealing with something else, but you still get something out of the song. So that's, that's my definition of awesome song.
So what's the hardest part about this? Like, as we've talked about how great it is, and obviously it's fantastic. Everyone loves music. But if you had to pick one thing that's really hard about it, what would it be?
I mean, it's just pouring your soul out night in, night out, day in, day out, recording. I'm pointing my studio, it's kind of over there. So I'm just pointing at that, but it's like, and sometimes, you're giving it all it's got and you don't get it back. And so that's tough for everybody, I don't care who you are, to deal with, and they're just those good and bad nights. And, and if you're doing it right, then you are pouring yourself out there. And it's like having a therapy session. And, if you don't get that reciprocated back, it's heavy. So that's, aside from that, the other thing is, not getting burned out. You give so much of yourself away all the time, not, again, night in, night out, you find you don't have anything left for yourself. So that's a tough part, so you got to figure out ways to stay motivated and stay excited about life and, still give something to the people that you're performing for and doing it for. So.
Well, thank you. Yeah, definitely. No doubt, man. I have similar vibes with podcasting too. I've been podcasting for I don't know, I guess 4 or 5 years now. And the thing about it is, I know people that podcast, Ross, that literally don't take a break. I can't. If I have and plus I get nickel and dimes off this thing. But if I'm right now, I'm thankfully into this music world and I've gotten a few, producers that help me out. But if I don't have an episode, I just shut down for 2 weeks.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because
with gigs,
if mind block, like you were saying, if you have a mind block, all the creativity stops.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it if you're not thinking right. So I hear you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes alcohol helps with that, right? We're talking about whiskey.
Yeah, sometimes it frees up some roadblocks. Gets them out of the way for you.
All right, man. Well, where can people find you on social media? What's your handles?
So I have on Instagram, it's Ross Flora Music, ROSSFLORA Music. And then on my Facebook, I have a page, it's Ross Flora Official. And then my website is www.ross-flora.com.
And where can people find Cannonball? Just wherever they stream music?
Apple, Spotify, all the above. So yeah.
Sure. And do you have a title for this EP, or everything's still in the?
We're coming up with one.
I was trying to get a little sneak peek from you. I almost got it.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a title coming up, but that's the one song I haven't quite gotten done yet. So I'm trying to. I don't know if but I do like the. I'm thinking about naming it the Shoulders of Giants.
Nice.
A friend of mine,
I like that.
A friend of mine. I feel like that's a great way to get started in the industry, is paying homage to how I feel about.
We were talking about that. Yeah.
I get to, I'm standing here trying to fill these boots of Titans, and, just the hardworking family I come from and the community I was raised in.
Yeah, man. I middle class, but my work ethic doesn't say much. Doesn't say that. My dad worked for NASA. He was on the launching pad.
Dang, man, that's awesome.
So he worked on the launching pad for 30 years.
Good day, dude. And we should talk about that. Oh man.
What, NASA? It's boring to people. People think it's boring.
Man. Oh, not me.
Let's talk. Hey, we got 5 minutes. What's one question you got about it? Because I got some answers.
I mean, yeah. So what era was he? Was he on the Apollos?
This was well, he moved down here in the 80s, mid to late 80s. I'm 87, but he moved down here. We got the house in 95. They're Illinois family, so they moved in they're 90s. And so Atlantis. Yeah, he was he's contractor. So we were 30 minutes away from the launching pad, so we would see the flight on Saturday mornings when I woke up. I didn't think anything of it. It was like, oh, I guess I got to get up and start chores. The house was shaking. Well, I guess
that's amazing.
I guess it's time for me to get up now. And it sounds cocky, but as a kid,
well, you get used to it, but that's
as a kid, I kind of didn't like it because it's like, oh man. Not only does that mean I have to get up, but Dad's home because he's, because
his job's done for the day. So Shoot.
No, man, it's all right. There's always a downside to everything, and not every, there's always a downside to everything.
Yeah. But that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah. We'll talk about that another time. Next time you come.
Yeah, next time, man.
All right. Ross, thank you so much, man. This is awesome.
Hey, well, thank you for having me.
And I'll tag you and everything like that, okay?
All right, sounds good, man. Stay in touch.
All right, man. Yeah, likewise. You as well. This was awesome.
All right, yeah. Sounds good,
man. All right, have a good night.
All right, see you, bro.
All right, see you. And there's another one in the books. Once again, I would like to thank Ross for coming on the podcast today, and I would like to thank you for listening to yet another episode of the Sensibly Cynical Podcast. This is episode 187. We are inching closer and closer to the magical 200 number. If you have any ideas, guests you want me to have on the show, or anything like that, let me know. DM, email, you know the routine. We are on Twitter at Cynical Sensibly, Instagram, Sensibly Cynical Pod. You can check out our Facebook page. Also, you can go on WordPress, of course, YouTube, and so much more. The coffee mugs are still available on Bonfire, so you can help out the podcast by getting one of those. Those are really cool. And so that's it for this episode. Please stay safe and take care.